What's up everyone, Drunken Phoenix here, and today I'm going to go ahead and give my reaction to some more layoff videos. We are halfway through the month of July, which means, we're already over halfway through the year 2025. And this has been a very tumultuous year for so many people with all of the economic uncertainty, the high cost of living, as well as a lot of these big layoffs at a lot of companies. There really is no sense of job security these days. So many people are getting laid off left and right. In fact, people are getting laid off by the thousands. So I thought this would be, a good time just to look at some more videos of people talking about the trends for 2025 as far as layoffs, as well as their own individual experience. So let's go ahead and get started.
Got laid off again. 2 layoffs in the same span of 6 months is crazy. I had just gotten a new job in May and I just got laid off this morning. Like, it wasn't an individual thing. It was like, the project got canceled. We need to lay you guys off. We might call you again in October, but like it's not on anymore. And you guys, I actually can't. I don't know what I should be more concerned about. The fact that I literally don't give a fuck anymore. And this is just more motivation for me to pursue financial freedom, or the fact that I'm fucking unemployed right now.
Yeah, so this is really rough. I can't imagine just being laid off 2 times in a row within 6 months. And I think she said she had like the text at the beginning of her video saying that she's responsible for all her bills. So that I can't even imagine that. And that, I think, let this just be a testament that no job is safe, and you should always just, be prepared for the worst, make smart financial decisions. And yeah, if you have a job right now, just be, thankful that you have a job, but just never get too comfortable.
Like, stay tuned, I guess.
Microsoft layoffs go harder. Termination effective immediately with no severance pay. This is insane. So Microsoft has initiated a wave of performance-based job cuts, with affected employees losing their jobs effective immediately and receiving no severance packages, according to termination letters sent to staff. The termination letters obtained by Business Insider state that the employees are being let go because their job performance has not met minimum performance standards and expectations. Impacted workers face immediate removal of access to Microsoft systems, accounts, and buildings. Now, in a particularly strict measure, the company is discontinuing healthcare, prescription, and dental benefits for employees on their final days of work. That's terrible. 3 terminated employees confirmed that they would not receive severance payments, underscoring the company's more stringent approach to performance management. Microsoft went on to say, "You are all relieved of job duties effective immediately." In the termination letters, employees were to return all company property, including car keys, corporate American Express cards, and any Microsoft hardware or software in their possession. The letters also warned that the future employment applications to Microsoft will be evaluated considering past performance and basis of termination, potentially affecting former employees' chances of returning to the company. Now, a Microsoft spokesperson defended the company's actions, stating,
Okay, that is very harsh. I think of all the layoff videos I've seen, like not just like, the points I put in this video, but just period, Microsoft is not playing. I think it's really horrible that they're just cutting off severance pay, or that they're not providing severance pay, and that they're cutting off all the different insurances like dental, medical insurance. I think that's a bit harsh. And I think they're trying to justify it by saying, oh, it's based on performance. But my question would be, what are the performance goals? Because I don't know, I'm a little skeptical when it comes to a lot of these big corporations, because I feel like more often than not that a lot of companies have these unrealistic performance goals for people. And whenever you're not able to reach that, if you're not working like, 24/7 for them, then they just gaslight you and just say, oh, you're not meeting performance, I'm gonna lay you off. You know what I'm saying? That happens more often than not if you don't know. So I think that's harsh. So again, if you have a job, be thankful for it, but just never get too comfortable, and just remember that ultimately you are just a number. And it's also messed up how they said that some employees, like if they were to apply again to Microsoft, they're going to look at their past performance reviews, like when they were from the last time they worked there. I think that's a bit harsh. I think this is clearly them just trying to gaslight people, and they were going to cut these people regardless, whether it was because of performance-based stuff or just because they needed to save some more money.
Seem to be getting much, much worse for Nissan. According to reports out of Japan today, the company now plans to lay off another 10,000 employees worldwide. And that's in addition to the previous layoffs, which brings the total to right around 20,000 or roughly 15% of their total workforce, which is crazy. Now, when Nissan had originally announced that they would be laying off employees, they also expressed plans to shut down some of their manufacturing facilities and reduce their production capacity by 20%. Recently, Nissan's former CEO came out and said that he places the blame on his successors, saying that the leadership's decision-making was too slow and that the company is now in a desperate situation. He even highlighted the fact that they're now, quote, forced to go begging for help from one of its main competitors in Japan, end quote. Of course, the competitor he's referring to is Honda, but that strategy came to an end after negotiations fell apart between the two companies. Now, Nissan is due to announce its full-year results, I believe, tomorrow, which are expected to be pretty ugly, but just how ugly, we'll have to wait and see. Is this the end for Nissan? Let me know what you guys think.
Artificial intelligence will 100% change everyone's job. That's according to the CEO of Santa Clara-based chip maker NVIDIA. Jensen Huang's company is a leader in AI, and he says he's already seeing the impact.
The work will change, but it's very likely, my job has already changed. The work that I do has changed, but I'm still doing my job. And so I think that everybody's jobs will be affected. Some jobs will be lost. Many jobs will be created.
Huang's comments are in...
I'm very curious to know what many jobs will be created. That I'm kind of skeptical about, only because I just haven't... I'm sure there'll be some jobs that will create. You need people, to run the AI, but I'm just skeptical about many jobs being created, because all I've been seeing are just a lot of people getting laid off due to AI. So what, and like with AI implemented, why would there be more jobs created? Because I feel like I would think you would need less people to run it. And we know the overall trend of why a lot of companies want to utilize AI is to reduce costs. So if you guys have, maybe I'm just not super educated on this particular aspect, but if you all know or also believe that more jobs will be created as a result of AI, like many jobs, please let me know. Just leave it in the comment section so I can kind of get some kind of understanding, because it just sounds really insincere for him to say that. So
contrast to what the head of Anthropic said recently, that San Francisco-based CEO told Axios AI could eliminate half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in just the next few years.
Yeah. And something else I heard somebody say was that it's not that AI will take your job, it's that somebody else who knows how to use AI well will take your job.
That's a good point.
So it's very important to actually grasp the technology and use it in your favor. Right?
And you want to be an early adopter, too.
Yeah.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have some very bad news in layoffs for July 2025 and in general. So far, the total layoffs are over 600,000. That is higher. That is an 87% increase than last year at the same time. 87%. The additional bad news I have for you today is that the Supreme Court just ruled that Trump can lay off more federal government employees. You heard me correctly. The Supreme Court just ruled today that he can cut the federal.
Okay, this horrible news, but I'm sorry, the music is kind of... I'm trying to listen to it, but this sounds horrible. 600,000 people. If that's true, that's tremendous in a bad way. That's over 500,000 people that got laid off. I guess I would be curious to know what is the normal amount of people that get laid off from a job in any given year. But she says 87% increase. I could believe it, because ever since this new administration, things have just not been the same. People are just losing their jobs left and right. Like, things gotten much worse.
Workforce. This will be the first president to not only not increase jobs, but to go to the Supreme Court to fire people. An 87% increase in layoffs. If you are worried about being laid off, please use warntracker.com. Follow for all things personal finance, economic news.
I really don't think people understand what is coming over the next 18 months, especially if you're working in corporate America. If that's you, you might want to save this video for later, and please share it with a friend who's working in corporate. We are seeing what they are calling the Great Restructuring. And essentially, it is consolidation of people and humans within an organization as they blend with technology. It basically means that companies are looking to get rid of irrelevant job titles, job roles. They're looking to get rid of these massive teams that don't get anything accomplished for 3 or 4 years. I've spoken to so many people who have been laid off over the last 2 to 3 years, and I've noticed something. The bigger the company they are at, the less impact they actually have, which makes their resume really, really hard to work. I will get people who share with me projects they've worked on where they've been one of 20 people. If you're in a role like that, it's really hard to define the value that you're bringing to the company you're working at. And it also means you are primed to be consolidated. You see, companies are making decisions of how they blend humans with AI and technology. They are trying to get as much as they can done with the least amount of people possible. Microsoft just announced mass layoffs, and we are going to continue to see companies do this during the Great Restructuring. So if you're working for a big corporation, you've been warned.
Look, I don't know if you all paying attention, TikTok family, but if you're watching the news and you care about what's going to happen to you, and we know TikTok has all these great things and tools, ebooks and all of this shit and whatnot, quick, easy schemes that they say is so easily to get all this extra money. But if you look and you pay attention, April mass layoffs, I was a part of that. Microsoft laid off 9,000 jobs. This is tech as well, HR and other different positions. Now they're finally officially attacking federal workers. What the hell you think is going to happen? So everybody's supposed to stay in the dark? No assistance, people who worked, paid taxes, did what they were supposed to do. And so now with this narcissistic regime that we have in office and his little booty lickers of America at his wheel, we're screwed. Now I know we did the boots on the ground. We, black folks, we know how to make it. But this is a different time. This is a different situation. And I'm not saying that we need to scramble and, oh my God, and panic. No, what I'm saying, we have to be strategic in what we do. We're gonna have to learn to get together and plot and save and put whatever we can, because I'm telling you, it's gonna become a time when you better have your paperwork in order. You better have passports. I'm trying to get my stuff together because we don't know. And so as I'm reading the news and I'm thinking, like, we got all this bickering and shit on TikTok and all this other stuff on social media across the board of the platforms, and I get it. We want to laugh, have fun, but bitches, you paying attention? Are you really paying attention to what's really out here? Are you really following? Now, if you got a corporate position, you making great money. I used to be at that point, but shit, I'm here now. And so if you don't plan and having some type of journal income other than what your salary is bringing in, it's hard. It's going to get hard out here. So I just want to bring awareness. I know I've talked about a lot of things just for me on my page and my niche and all that, or niche. But the reality is kicking in. Like, this shit is different. It's a different time of system that we're in. So we need to start paying attention and focus on unity and checking up on each other, because everybody ain't okay. Y'all.
Yeah, I think she made a lot of good points when it comes to just not only just how many people are getting laid off, but it just being very different this time, because it seems like, I know people say history repeats itself, and I agree to an extent, but I think this is like one of the few times in American history where we have an administration that is just, I don't think they know what they're doing. I think for me, it's the constant gaslighting and the lies and the corruption of just pretending to care about, regular working class people, but all their actions are, the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? I think she made a good point when she stated that it's good to have multiple sources of income, not just your main job, but just, finding ways to make more extra money. Yeah, so I mean, I'm curious to see what ends up happening. Things are not trending in a good way right now. Yeah, so let me know how you all feel. Are you guys doing okay when it comes to having a job, or do you know anyone that's been laid off, or have you been affected? Even if you weren't affected directly, have you noticed, like, anything in your own community where maybe like a lot of businesses got shut down, or maybe it just seemed like it's less workers at your bank or something, or I don't know. But it'll be really interesting to see how this year ends and what ends up happening. So let me know you all's thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.